Hey, Steve McCondichie here with another episode of Grit-Lit's Hits and Bits. In our last episode, we talked about female writers of the early 20th century, maybe late 19th century up to Flannery O'Connor. And they're really, you kind of think, for us, well, where has Southern literature progressed since Flannery O'Connor? Because there's a lot of folks that don't realize that it's moved beyond the stories of Flannery O'Connor. And the first author you'd have to talk about when you're going beyond that, and so far as notoriety, from our standpoint, is Ann Patchett. She's a novelist, an award-winning novelist. This happens to be State of Wonder, which Ann lives in Nashville, is co-owner of a bookstore in Nashville called Parnassus. She's a major force in Southern literature. This story is actually set in the Amazon, an intriguing story. But Ann Patchett is probably one of the most prolific Southern writers there is today. Written a series of novels. All of them are captivating, wonderful stories. This just happens to be one of them I'm holding up. But Ann Patchett, I would say if you're looking to get into Southern literature, you start with Ann Patchett. So far as the hottest Southern writer right now, well, I'm going to go with Where the Crawdads Sing. Set in the North Carolina coast, beginning in the late 1960s. It's a story about the children we once were and the children we all are, and secrets. This book, you see it's got Reese Witherspoon's sticker there. This book is broken out beyond the South, which is always great to see. And so Delilah Owens is probably the most noteworthy Southern author today. So let's take a minute to talk about some other Southern authors that are out that you may not know about, even though we've mentioned them all before. First one I want to talk about is a book that just came out in January. It's Sugar Run from Misha Marin. So Misha's story, Misha's a North Carolina writer. This is the story about two women, drugs, out of jail. The beautiful thing about Misha's novel, Sugar Run, it has the beautiful prose of literary fiction, well crafted, and it also has an engaging plot that it's got a bit of a thriller edge to it. And you get the term literary thriller. This book is a fantastic debut novel. The other book I want to talk about in contemporary Southern writers, I think is a name you should know, is Bren McClain and One Good Mama Bum. This book came out a couple years ago. Just recently won an award for the South Carolina Author of the Year or the Book of the Year. But Bren is a great person, a friend of Southern Fried Karma. She pours her heart and soul into this novel, and it is about family, it's about motherhood, and it asks questions that we don't like to ask and maybe not give you all the answers that you want to hear. But Bren did a wonderful job with this, and she deserves all the accolades and praise that she's won and she's earned them all. The last book I want to talk about in this episode is a little bit outside the norm of what would be considered Southern fiction. It's not really Southern fiction. She's not really a Southern writer, or is she? That's a question you're going to have to answer for yourself. I've answered it. You can see my dog-eared copy of Been to the Beach with Me of An Isolated Incident by Sonia Kamal, a Pakistani American living here. Sonia lives here in Atlanta. She's also has a follow-up, not directly, but a book that just came out, The Unmarriageable, or Unmarriageable, a Jane Austen type story set in Pakistan. The reason I mention this about contemporary Southern authors is that I think it represents the diverse voice and diverse Southern authors. We've left and to lose you behind. The Peacocks are still there, but Flannery O'Connor's gone. Her stories are still here, but we need to look beyond those. And you can do that with Ann Patchett, or Delilah Owens, or Misha, or Bryn McLean, or Sonia Kamal. And you can really see what the South is today. It is a much more diverse and inclusive place than it used to be. Steve McCondichie here with our episode of Gritlets, Hits and Bits. You got any questions, comments, concerns? Email me at steve@sfkmultimedia.com. We'd like to hear from you. Till the next episode, see you then. Thanks.